morning. Good morning. It's Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA. Golly, it's good to see you guys. It feels like it's been forever. How you doing, Matt?
Good. We get you for like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Oh,
and
no, actually,
now
only a
now we only
day.
get you for a day.
A day. Absolutely. But boy, I've missed you. How are you, Drew?
Doing fantastic, and it is nice to see you again. Yeah, we'll take a day if that's all we can get.
I'll take a day whenever Leza needs a day, and I understand she's picking up her daughter.
Yes, that's what I was told.
Actually, Christmas festivities are with us. Is that not the case?
What I'm wondering is when are we going to get Carol Chamberlain an hour after Leza every day? And then you'll be in 5 days a week.
Hold on just a minute. I said to Ken last night, I've got to go to bed. I have to go to work tomorrow. And he laughed just like you all did. So I think this is the amount of work I want to be doing. But thank you.
Most important hour of the day.
It is the most important hour of the day and the most fun. So let's talk about Christmas. You ready, Matt?
Sure.
Tell me what that means.
I've started thinking about purchasing gifts.
Are you a big gift giver?
Yeah, I spend too much money.
Well, I think that's probably the case, but I can't believe you haven't started yet. I would be sort of in a panic. Do you have to mail any of them?
No, I don't go that far. If I do, then I order Amazon and have it delivered to their house.
Actually, I do have to tell you, I did that once, and I really should learn. How about you, Drew?
I'm pretty much ready. We go ahead and we kind of plan it a little bit differently as we don't buy a lot of gifts. We're into the making. Jamie does a lot of her sewing for the kids and makes some stuff, and then she'll start cooking and baking, and then everybody gets their stuff. And we kind of keep it old fashioned. We kind of like it that way.
Actually, I absolutely love that. I didn't know that Jamie was a seamstress.
Yeah, she's trying to keep up with me on motorcycles. She's got like 3 sewing machines and all kinds of stuff. So, you know.
So she does regular clothes, not quilting.
No, she does. She can do just about everything. She can make gowns, and she makes stuff for her granddaughters and the grandsons. This year, they're all getting custom-made pajamas. One's Transformers, one's dinosaurs, one's... I'm trying to think. It was a Disney movie. I can't remember. But anyway, she makes all that stuff.
Well, that's absolutely great. So I bought a sewing machine when I retired, as you know, and I've made maybe 4 things. And one of these days, I'm going to really get with it again because I do have a pattern. I just can't find any fabric. It's hard to find fabric anymore.
I know that she goes to Joann's, but there's other places that you can go online that has special fabrics and special prints and that kind of stuff. But, you know, when after the show, I'll give you a number. You can talk to her. Maybe she can help you out.
Actually, that's wonderful. I looked at some fabric online, and it's like $30 a yard. And you know, it takes a lot of yards. And I need to feel it if I'm going to spend that much money on it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You get used to that probably the more you sew. That's this kind of material, you know. You know, if you're doing it a lot, you're more dialed in.
Well,
sure.
One of these days I'll dial in. How's that? I have to tell you, fortunately got all of my presents wrapped. I'm a real gift wrapper. So I love to make beautiful bows and have pretty packages. And then I take them down to FedEx, and they shove all those beautiful bows in a box and put a lot of wrapping around it and tape up the box and charge you an arm and a leg to do it. I haven't even told Ken what I spent at FedEx yesterday. It's just crazy.
He'll get the credit card statement.
He
It's
sure
fine.
will.
And he'll just deal with it.
Merry Christmas. We took out the national debt to mail to our family.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, the pricing is just astronomical.
I know. I just, when he said to me that one of the shipping charges was $90, it's like, what the heck are you talking about? I didn't expect it to be delivered in a limousine.
Yeah, exactly. It's in line. I think we were 72 for the one package we sent out back east.
Well,
I mean, you know, Really, folks?
Absolutely. And stamps are just going crazy too. But anyway, so much for that. So I have just found out, I've started thinking, you really do have to give some tips at Christmas to people that you are around a lot, like your hairdresser and your manicurist and all that. I guess there was a survey that says that housekeepers, child care providers get the biggest holiday tips. Do you all tip anybody at the holidays?
I mean, I tip my manicurist and my makeup artist like you can't believe.
Actually, do you have a makeup artist? I'm
No.
looking for one.
I don't have any of those things. I probably should have a house cleaner, but they'd probably come into my house and have a heart attack immediately. And then I would really be paying for some medical bills.
Exactly. Do you tip at the holidays, Drew?
I tip all the time. As a ex-bartender, and so
sure.
to me that's just part of the game. My Jamie would be my housekeeper, so I got to give her a big tip.
A big tip. You better give her the biggest of all. Well, a new survey from Bankrate shows that housekeepers, daycare providers, and teachers are the most likely to get cash tip from families during the holidays. Mail carriers, gardeners, and trash collectors, who I'd never had thought of before, are also on the list. More people plan to tip for the holidays this year, but the amounts are going to be less than last. This, I think, is pretty interesting. Younger generations are more likely to tip during the holidays than older people. They're not in my house, but but they're less likely to tip at restaurants. I find that odd. Anyway, did I tickle something to make you think about giving a tip to somebody?
No, like Drew, I was in the restaurant industry as well, so I just have a level of you gotta kind of earn it. If you do bad service, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not tip you. You're just not gonna get as much.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I thoroughly agree. There are a couple that I always think of. My newspaper delivery person is somebody I really like to tip because that newspaper is always out there by 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, which I think is absolutely incredible.
What's a newspaper?
It's that thing you asked me what was in my hand as I walked in.
It's the thing that lines the birdcage bottom.
Yeah.
Ooh, ouch. I just can't read my newspaper online.
It's hard to do on a computer. I agree with you.
My eyes just don't do that. I like to feel it. I like to hear it crinkle. And I like the newspaper crossword puzzle on Sunday. That's a special treat for me.
And it gives you something to whack Ken with.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
No? Oh, well,
No.
that's good.
I'd get that back. I'm smarter than that.
How do you tip somebody at 5 a.m? Do you wait for them to drive by?
Oh, no. Actually, I did do that one time. Waiting for those lights to come around the corner. But she sends a Christmas card out in the newspaper with her name and address.
Oh, how nice.
Well, yeah. I think that's
Makes it a little easier.
I just remember back in the day when I was a paper boy 30 plus years ago, I had to go door to door to collect
Absolutely.
payment. That's how I always got tipped. And the holidays, that was where I made my bread and butter.
Yeah.
Actually, that's really good. So just in case you need some, you'll do that again.
No.
No.
But my friends always joked with me that I went full circle because, my first job was at 11, 12, was delivering newspapers. And then my career until a few years ago was working at a newspaper again.
Actually, that is full circle.
Yep.
Ken was a newspaper delivery person for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I think that would be really hard work.
I just sold the presses to the newspaper, so.
Oh, that's right. You were a printer press guy.
Yeah, sold printing presses for 27 years.
Do people use printing presses anymore?
Yeah, you still go to the newsstand. You see all those magazines. Those are all still printed. All your books. Now the books are done digitally, but your larger formats are all still done printing. So in by lithography actually.
Huh.
But
Well,
so we have to make sure that we tip everybody. By the way, question: do you know what TIP stands for?
I do not.
To ensure prompt service.
See, every day we learn something from Drew. Thank you so much.
Hence the reason he's Droogle.
I like that a lot. We should rename that Droogle. Okay.
That's going to cost you, man. I'm telling you.
No, I'm going to get you a plaque made or something.
Okay, sure.
So I had something really odd happen to me this morning. I forgot to share with you, so I will. So I'm sitting up in bed having a cup of coffee way early this morning, and Maxwell, my standard poodle, got up with me as he always does because he stands under the cookie jar until that's taken care of. And then he goes back to bed, and all of a sudden he jumped up from his pillow and he went over and started chowing down on my spider plant. And I jumped out of bed and I said, Maxwell, stop. And I pulled him away from the spider plant and I jerked that spider plant baby out of his mouth. And he runs into the living room and starts eating the Scheffalera. And so I scoot him away from that and he runs into the dining room and starts eating my coleus. And all of a sudden I said, Max, what's the matter with you? I put him outside and he went after the Nandina.
What are all these things?
These are all different plants.
They're
Okay,
plants.
got it. Just like, this is some wild stuff we're talking about. I don't know what Carol has in her house. I'm kind of scared to ask.
Well, I do have a lot of house plants, but it was absolutely shocking. So at first I thought, and then he started barking outside and I let him in and he was just fine. So at first I thought, your diet must be deficient in something. And then I realized it was so odd, I am pretty sure he was sleepwalking. Have you ever heard of a sleepwalking dog?
No. I can't say I have.
I can't say I have either. So there'll be a call to the vet to find out what the heck was going on. Yeah. But what a shockaroo.
You didn't feed him anything that was out of the ordinary from a day before?
No, he might have gotten into something, but I certainly didn't see it.
Are you trying to convert him over to being a vegan?
No, definitely not. This is a dog who eats raw.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying that because it took me a long time to get used to that bleeding onto the carrots and peas and stuff you see inside the meat patty. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, he's a great dog, but he's got a problem this morning. So speaking of plants, has everybody put up their Christmas tree?
No.
You've got yours here.
It's right there. Yeah,
I forgot.
I got Vader on there. Where's your contribution to our Christmas tree?
Actually, I didn't bring anything. I'll bring something the next time I'm in.
All right.
So how about you, Drew? Tree up?
No, that's next week. I do middle of December to middle of January.
Oh, Ken has always tried to get me to keep it up to, what's the name of that holy day that you're supposed to keep it up till? Anyway.
New Year's Eve?
I tell you, yeah. January the 1st, it has to be down because I'm just so sick of it. But apparently the right time to put up the Christmas tree is, though some people get tinsel and their jack-o'-lantern, experts say to ignore all that crazy social media stuff. Country Living magazine, which you can imagine is the thing on this, suggests decking your halls at any time after the first Sunday of Advent, which is December the 1st. And if you ask your Christmas tree growers, needles are going to start turning brown by the 3rd week, which makes now about the time to put it up. So you're right in time.
That's nice to know.
Speaking of, we got the neatest present from Ken's good friend Tom the other day when we were down in Phoenix. He gave us an Advent calendar. This Advent calendar has whiskey
That's a good
All
advent calendar.
I like
all
that one.
different kinds of whiskey. So there are 2 crystal glasses that you open first, and then every day you open that little day and pull out a bottle of whiskey. Irish whiskey, bourbon whiskey, Scotch whiskey. But how could you beat that?
Now, is it a full bottle?
No, it's just a
Oh,
little bottle.
no.
But I
So
tell
it's
you,
not mat sized.
not mad size, but you could drink the whole calendar at once, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is a very large box that this calendar comes in. So speaking of booze, I'll give us one last little tidbit. So, the world's most dangerous pizza joint. I figured
Okay.
pizza goes with booze. Pizza.
Beer, for sure.
It is cooked on a volcano. If you thought wood oven pizza was authentic, wait till you get a load of how one restaurant has been making it in Guatemala. Pizza Pacaya calls itself the world's most dangerous pizza because it's baked right on an active volcano, hence the name of the pizza. They plop the tray with the raw pizza right onto the glowing lava rocks, and a few minutes later, well, it's pizza. But what really is amazing about this story is they have to have on all fireproof protective gear, goggles, and sometimes the sulfur levels are so high they get nosebleeds. Now, I don't think I'd want to be a cook in that restaurant. How about you?
I don't know if I'd want to eat that pizza if it has that much sulfur.
Absolutely.
Well, the
doesn't
sulfur's
sound
the sulfur's probably
super
just in
great.
the air.
Okay, well, I hope.
Okay.
Well, but if it's in the air, it could fall,
It could
flavor the pizza.
It could fall into your pizza, and then you'd have
mean-
nosebleeds out the nose. you know.
Anchovies and sulfur does not sound delightful.
Oh, it doesn't. Do you like anchovy on your pizza,
No.
Drew?
No.
I love anchovies. I just love them. So I'll take y'all's. Well, after that, we're going to be right back in just a minute so we can hear all the goings on for the week from Kelly. See you in a minute. back. It's Carol Chamberlain in for the lovely Leza live on the News 103.5 KYCA. We're sitting here talking amongst ourselves, and Kelly has not come in yet to tell us about the week's happening. So we know that Aphrodite's Friday.
Yeah.
Big old deal.
Big deal. Yeah. Hopefully nothing happened to Kelly because this is not like her. So
We're missing you already, Kelly. But I'm going to just tell you a couple of other things I read this morning.
please.
So, Brangelina. Do you remember Brangelina?
Yeah.
It's
two people, right?
It is two people.
Okay.
It's Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brangelina has been offered a blank check to appear in the movie together. Frankly, I don't know why anybody would want to see her in the movie, except I am going to watch Maria, which is now streaming on Netflix. Do you know Maria Callas?
No.
It's a biography, apparently, about Maria Callas.
Huh.
But anyway, I was really surprised to see that it's coming on Netflix. But how much would you pay to see Brad Pitt and Angelina star in a movie together?
I think that depends on the kind of movie.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you'd go see?
Yeah, that was a really fun movie.
Apparently it was for them, too, because look what happened.
Well, yeah, that's where they got married, right?
Yeah, that's
started dating or whatever.
That's where they got together. Because director Danny Rossner insists he's not kidding, offering Brangelina a blank check to reunite for his next movie. He's reportedly already raised $60 million, which he hopes is enough to entice those two who've spent the last 8 years bickering in court over everything from custody of their kids to their wine business. The movie is a love story set in World War II France. Wait a minute. World War III with them, I guess. France is really a romantic place. Sounds like no one's holding their breath, though. Would you want to see them, Drew?
If I had nothing better to do.
So did you... Was it Maleficent? The only thing
Maleficent, yeah.
Is that right, Maleficent?
Yeah.
The only thing I liked about that was learning how to say Maleficent.
Oh.
I never saw the movie.
I'm not going to try.
It wasn't a bad movie. It was just, Disney trying to make more money, and they did. So.
Well, I tell you what, Disney makes a lot of money, but they deserve a lot of money. I love Walt Disney. I just loved him. Anyway, so I didn't know this was happening, but another NFL star's home has been robbed. And just like the others, quarterback Joe Burrow's place in Cincinnati was ransacked while he was playing. He and the Bengals were in Dallas for Monday Night Football when burglars busted in through a window. A friend of Burrow's was inside at the time, but they weren't hurt. However, his bedroom was ransacked, trashed, and a lot of his stuff was taken. Did you know that stuff was going on?
Yeah, they think that it's related to organized crime in some way because it's happened in the Valley, down in Scottsdale.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. See, I'm way behind the times because what I remember is people reading in an obit when the funeral service was going to be, and then they'd go in and rob the widow's house while she was at the funeral. I always thought that was just so horrible.
Well, they're telling people now, like if you look on your phone and it says, "Oh, I'm on vacation," and it shows the airplane leaving, right? They're saying don't do that because you're letting the bad guys know you're not home.
I've been preaching that for ever. You don't publicly put out that you're on vacation on social media. You just don't.
I really felt that way too, but I really caught it from some of my lady mafias for not sharing our France and Italy trip. And I said, but I'll do that later. I just didn't want people to know I was gone.
Yeah, when you come back, share it all you want, but don't share it when you're on the trip or, hey, I'm leaving, because that's just like throwing up a sign, hey, come rob me, please. My house is empty.
I mean, it's even gotten to the point where remember when people would have babies and they'd be a big stork on the lawn? You know, saying, hey, just now they're saying absolutely don't do that because they've had literally people come in and abduct the babies.
Oh my God.
I mean, we don't live in the world that we grew up in.
I have to tell you, more and more I am sensing that just on a daily basis.
And I definitely don't live in the world that, you and Drew grew up in either. So
No, you don't.
That's two, Matt. That's two, buddy.
I'm rendered speechless at that.
when I get to 3, do I get a prize?
Oh, I got a prize for you.
Oh, I got a prize for him too, and it's not an advent calendar.
Yeah, it won't be an advent calendar.
Dang it.
I've got some more. I've got some more examples of why the world is not the same as it was. Do you want to hear them?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I don't know how you feel about what's gone on with the CEO of United Healthcare getting murdered. I mean, how absolutely horrible is that story? But apparently, the internet's obsession with the alleged, and I hadn't heard this before, heartthrob assassin.
I haven't heard that either.
Well, he's good looking, but I wouldn't have called him a heartthrob, keeps growing. Now the cops who arrested Luigi Mangione are getting death threats. The cops are.
For
And
doing their jobs.
The department in Altoona, Pennsylvania has put its officers on high alert after getting a bunch of threatening emails and calls. They say one guy even claimed to be the real killer, saying they arrested the wrong guy. And then there's the McDonald's where he was arrested. It's been getting roasted with terrible reviews, calling the employees rats. Google has taken down more than 1,000 one-star reviews since Tuesday. I mean, what the heck are we coming to?
Well, that's one of those things I've been preaching ever since I was, in high school and college, is that the internet is one of mankind's greatest inventions, but it also might be our downfall because of stuff like this.
It's true. And I guess what happens is you can just sit behind that keyboard and think that nobody ever can come get you. Nobody knows who you are. It's just different.
Yeah, it's very different when you say it to someone's face versus behind a computer screen.
I thoroughly agree.
Because you're miles away.
And you think you're infallible.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that infallibility, I'm going to tell you we're going to be back right after this break. See you in a minute. Good morning again. It's Carol Chamberlain in for the lovely Leza live on the news 103.5 KYCA. So lucky to have as our guest Courtney Osterfeld from the Launchpad.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm just delighted to see you, and you look so festive in your red sweater.
Thank you.
Your one red sweater because you gave your second one to a friend.
Yes, yeah. You got to share the holiday spirit.
See what a kind person Courtney is. Well, we're going to talk later about the 2024 Santa Run for the Launchpad that's this Saturday, December the 14th at the Brownlow Trail.
Yeah.
But before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit about the Launchpad.
Okay.
So I think probably everybody knows the story of the beginning of the Launchpad, but tell us a little bit about how you got the idea, the concept. Where did it come from?
I mean, so a long time ago, over 20 years ago, I started a program for teenage girls, a leadership program. And it was one time a year. It was a retreat in the mountains. We'd have like 50 girls turn up, and all of them would always talk about how they just needed more. Can you offer the leadership retreat every weekend? Can you have a place for us to go after school? And so it just became really clear that we need a teen center that's not just for teenage girls and not just for youth who are quote unquote troubled, but truly for all youth to have a place like a third space. Adults have lots of third spaces. We have church, we have, for some adults, they have the bar, the library, the gym, all these different places, and teenagers don't have that. So really creating a space that they could claim as their own and get some of the things that they maybe don't get through school at the Launchpad.
Actually, that's a great story. So where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Fort Collins, Colorado, but I moved here to Prescott, Arizona to go to Prescott College. Oh my, let's see, 23 years ago. So I've been here for a while.
So you got your undergraduate degree and your graduate degree from Prescott College?
I did, yep. And I did not think I'd stay in Prescott. But, you know, you fall in love with somebody and you also fall in love with your work.
Oh, which came first?
My work came first.
Well, yeah. And then the other has lasted a long time as well.
It really has, yeah.
That's really cool.
This is why we have Carol on. She asks the hard questions.
I like it. It's awesome.
So in Fort Collins, did you see troubled teens there?
You know, I did, and I was a troubled teen in Fort Collins.
You were?
Yeah, I was just talking about this with somebody before I came over here. I got in a lot of trouble as a teenager. I dropped out of high school. I got in trouble with the law. I ran away from home at 16. So I really struggled.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if anyone could look at a turnaround story, I'm sitting across from her right now.
Yeah.
So what was the key that turned for you that made you not be that troubled teen anymore? Do you remember the moment?
I remember the year. Like I had been in so much trouble, and I had been expelled from school, and I just thought I just didn't care anymore. I was like, I don't have anything to contribute. I didn't think I was smart. And I had really wonderful, amazing parents. I really did. But it was a mentor at a school, a last chance school that I went to, who helped me see that I was smart. And I think the timing was also right. You know, a lot of factors come into play.
Certainly.
But all of a sudden you realize, oh, I have something to contribute. And it was that piece. It was like, I have something that I can contribute back. And that's worthwhile.
Not only is it worthwhile to you, to your folks who must have just been so grateful to whatever that mentor turned in you.
Yeah.
They must have been so grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a lot of what we've tried to replicate at the Launchpad is caring adults who can be there for youth and accept them for who they are, but also help them see their potential and help them pursue their potential.
Well, I tell you what, the Launchpad has been a tried and true place for a while, but I read something about how it might be connected to your grandmother.
Yeah.
How?
She's awesome. So my grandmother Tutu, who is, well, her real name is Helen, but we all called her Tutu.
Tutu, like, was she a dancer?
No, but that's, I believe it's a Japanese word for grandmother.
Oh.
Yeah, or like a like loving, affectionate term
Yes,
for grandmother
gotcha.
in Japanese. So she and she loved Japan, so that was where that came from. But she was my step grandmother. She passed away, almost probably 15 years ago. And I would never expect to be left anything. But especially because she's my step grandmother, and she left me some of her inheritance. And at the time, I was in my, early 30s, and I thought if maybe I could start a teen center with this. No, it was $13,500. So that's not a lot of money. Now I understand that, but at the time I was like, that's more money than I've ever had.
Absolutely.
And maybe I can use this $13,500 to start a teen center, and if it doesn't work within a year, we'll scrap the idea and we'll pivot, and I'll just pursue something different. And so I gave it my full-time effort for 1 year, and it worked. Thank goodness, because now I would never in my life give that advice to anybody. Because a year is not a long time.
Isn't it amazing what youth does for
yes,
you?
Totally.
So we're going to be right back after this break to talk some more with Courtney Osterfeld. Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA, talking with Courtney Osterfeld of the Launchpad. So we're so happy to have you. Thanks again for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So we were talking about your having been troubled and now taking care of troubles with a legacy left to you by your grandmother. And I have to tell you, when I first read that, I thought, look at the legacy she left, how happy she would be that not only is she living through you, but the work you're doing. I find that incredibly inspiring.
Yeah, you know what was really amazing is I told that story a while ago, and it was put in the paper. It was the first time I had ever told the story. It was a few years ago, and a woman who worked for the city read the story, and she called me and she said, "Hey, I'm a portrait painter, and I know you're going to be moving into your new building soon." And that you're doing a capital campaign. And I'm wondering, could I do a portrait of your grandmother for your new office?
Oh my gosh, that just makes my...
I know.
Oh, I love that.
And so I get to sit with Tutu right next to me every day, and it's so special.
It is very special. And I tell you, for people who don't know what to do with their estate plans, there are wonderful, wonderful things you can do to keep your philanthropy living past your life.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We should all remember that.
We should. Yes.
And tell the story of your grandmother. So you started off the launch pad by yourself and a Vista volunteer.
Correct. Yeah. And I had a board of directors too, which was great. But I had Phoebe, who is our Vista volunteer, and we had a board that was composed of adults and teenagers, which was really amazing to have the teens invested. And a lot of those teens are now donors, which is really cool because that was 10 years ago.
Of course they are. And I would assume that their parents or grandparents could also be great prospects for those planned gifts we were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And just amazing ambassadors. But I know it's like, you're doing your work right when the kids you were serving who did not come from well-resourced families are now donating back to the org because it was so meaningful to them.
It just makes you know you're doing something right. So you and a Vista volunteer, and tell us the mission of your organization.
Yeah, so the mission is to incite teen confidence and empowerment through community education and engagement.
I just love that because those are two things you really do, community education. I have certainly learned so much about what we can do as individuals to help the teens in our community.
Yeah, and that goes both ways. So it's what the community can do to help teens, but it's also what teens can do to be engaged in community and to help community.
Oh, there's no question about that, which helps them learn to be great citizens for the future. And they have a long future in front of them.
Totally. And a lot of them are waiting to vote. They think, oh, you don't get to participate in community till you vote. And it's like, that's not true at all. You can participate in community in so many ways.
That is really true.
Yeah.
I do actually remember when we were talking, when I was in grade school, I mean, we were getting out the vote and talking about how important that was. Even at my age, it was amazing.
And, on the mission statement, I think it's important to note that teens wrote the mission statement for the org. And so the word incite has caused some adults discomfort because it's a more aggressive term than like inspire. And however, the teens were like, we're tired of adults saying we want to inspire you. We want something that feels like it's our word and it's very action oriented. And so that's why they chose that word. But and I love that. I thought
love
it was
that
very
word.
smart.
I would never have thought negatively about that word, but I guess usually incite is followed by to riot.
Right. You're right.
I hadn't thought about that until this moment, but I'm not a riotous person. So, well, maybe a little.
Sure, you like to cause a little bit of trouble here and there.
Every once in a while. So how big is your board now?
So we have 7 adults on our board, and we have 8 teenagers currently on our board of directors.
So the teens outnumber the adults.
Very intentionally. That's part of our bylaws. We try to always keep it that way. There's occasionally, because 3 teens might graduate in the same year,
right?
And so that might shift the balance. But we really prioritize outnumbering the adults, and all of those teens are protected by our D&O insurance even.
Oh, that is really directors and officers, just for those who don't know, that kind of insurance. So one of the things that I know you are doing are community conversations, I think they're called. Tell us a little bit about how those are going, what it's doing.
They're so awesome. They're going so well. So we just had dinner 2 weeks ago at at the federal building, and we had over 200 people showed up for it.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So
So how did you reach out to these people to get them in?
so the teens initially did a survey with 900 people in the community about what do you think drives connection and what do you think drives division. And so the purpose of the survey was to figure out, like, why are we becoming more divided, and how can we course correct and become more connected? And that it's not about agreeing, and it's not about even compromise. It's about valuing the diversity in our community. It's about valuing somebody else's story and their opinion. And so from those surveys, we had all these contacts. Lots of people have followed. They wanted to know what the data was going to do. And so the teens have just continuously reached out.
Wow.
And this last dinner was just, it gives me the chills how amazing it was.
So just walk me through a bit of it, because I know we don't have a lot of time, but I just want to
Yeah.
hear a little bit about what it looked like.
So the teens are all hosts of tables, and they have a guidebook that they wrote based off of that survey data. And so they sit down with a group of diverse people. You don't know what table you're going to sit at. You're assigned a table. We intentionally try to bring people together across the aisle. So we have Republicans, we have Democrats, we have people who are in their 80s, people who are in their 20s, and every walk of life. And so you're at a table with people you don't know, and the teen guides you through. We're going to pick a topic, and we're all going to discuss our thoughts on that topic and what brought us to the place we are in believing that.
And people listen to one another as
Yes.
those differing views come forth.
Yes.
I love that.
It's
I love
really great.
I would love to hear a lot more about it, but we have to take yet another break. Right back after this.
Great.
Good morning again. At least with Elvis, it's a little peppier. This is Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA, talking with Courtney Osterfeld of the Launchpad. So
right.
let's talk a little bit about the Launchpad Christmas City 2024 Santa Run.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's one of my favorite fundraisers we do. Well, A, it's active and it's so family friendly, but it's our 6th year doing it. And so we usually have between 200 and 300 runners out at
that's
Brownlow
good.
Trail. And everybody is in a Santa hat and a Santa beard. So when you register for the race, you get a beard and a hat. And it's just so cute to see all these runners. And the little kids have reindeer antlers and a little red nose. And so it's a really sweet family friendly event. And this year we've really elevated it. So it's been cold every year. And so this year we have a big event tent where there's going to be some elves running warm-ups. We have a hot cocoa station. There's a company called Element who does like electrolytes that are chocolate flavored and
that's
hot.
pretty cool.
Yeah, so we'll have that happening, all kinds of fun stuff and prizes.
Okay, so entry fee?
The entry fee, it depends on which one you're doing. So if you're under 6 years of age, you can run free for any single one of them that you want to. Under 18 years of age is $10 for any of the runs. The fun run for little kids and for adults too, who just want to do a mile, is 1 mile. It's $25. The 5K is $40, and the 10K is $55.
So is it a timed race?
It is actually. So it is timed, and there are prizes for first and second place. So we have some pretty serious Santas out there who really try to best their time every year. And we give away prizes for those. They're actually handmade ugly sweaters that are made at the Teen Center, and they are awesome.
That's really good.
They're like prized possessions every year.
Oh, that is really good.
Yeah.
And do you have sponsors for this?
We have so many sponsors. So this year we've got Sparklight. We have Magic 99.1, Prescott Woman Magazine, Cambium, Wealth and Legacy Center. Great Circle Media, and then also Foothills Bank runs the cocoa station. So their whole team comes out. They bring cookies. They bring hot cocoa.
So what do you typically raise on, or what's your goal for this particular event?
Our goal typically is around $10,000. It's as much of it as it is a fundraiser. Is also just a fun way to expose families to the work that we do. And so every year we usually raise about $10,000, and that goes right back into our after-school programs.
After school program, what is that?
Oh my gosh, so many great things. So the biggest thing that's been utilized lately, because we're nearing the end of the semester, is free tutoring.
Important thing.
People are trying to raise their grades at the last minute. So we have, we call it academic mentorship, because it's more than just tutoring. It's really a kind of full circle approach to helping kids succeed. But we also have art programs. We have music programs. We have great leadership programs, and then we have a workforce development program. So if you've got a teen or you know a teen who's looking for their first job, we do resume building, mock interviews. We help them talk about their strengths, teach them how to do that. Yeah.
Oh, Courtney, you have done so much with your grandmother's amount of money that she left you, the work that you've put into our community. It is a blessing for all. So let me be one to say thank you for your vision and insight. But once more, the Santa Run.
Yes.
How do they sign up?
This Saturday. You can sign up in person, or you can get on our website, which is the launchpadteencenter.org, and there's a link to register.
Oh, that is wonderful. So let's see all of those Santas with Santa hats and beards. I could bring my own Santa hat that has a tiger skin on it. I love that.
We have prizes for best Santa costumes, and if you are not a runner, you can walk.
I would have to walk. I have been known to walk a marathon a long time ago when I was with the Arthritis Foundation. But anyway, it has been so good to have you, Courtney. Looking forward to seeing everybody later. Have a good Christmas, and see you tomorrow.